Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We would really appreciate if you could give us a rating, ideally 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you're listening to this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, others. It'll help us a lot. Thank you. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 159 days lasts the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The first grain ship left Ukrainian Odesa port on the Black Sea, reports RBK Ukraine. The vessel is under the flag of Sierra Leone and is heading to the port of Tripoli in Lebanon. It will move along the corridor, the safety of which has been confirmed by Ukraine's guarantor partners, the UN and Turkey. There are 26 tons of Ukrainian corn on board. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that we cannot have illusions that Russia will simply refrain from trying to disrupt Ukrainian exports. Russia consistently provoked famine in the countries of Africa and Asia, which traditionally imported large volumes of Ukrainian food, stressed the president. Zelensky added that 16 vessels are already waiting their turn for departure, and Ukraine is ready to make a proper contribution to the stabilization of the world food market. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky held a phone conversation with French President Emmanuel Macron, reports Interfax Ukraine. They discussed further actions on the provision of security assistance to Ukraine by both France and other international partners, in particular as regards meeting the priority needs of Ukrainian defenders for modern weapons. Macron reaffirmed his support for the Ukrainian people and their resistance and declared his determination to make sure that Russian war crimes will not go unpunished. Having sent a group of forensic experts to the site, France will continue its support in this area by transferring a mobile DNA laboratory to Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky asked his French colleague to help unblock 9 billion euros worth of macrofinancial aid for Ukraine, which has stalled in Europe. The president of Ukraine stressed that these funds are needed to cover social expenditures, pensions, salaries, support for IDPs. Prosecutor General of Ukraine Andriy Kostin informed that preliminary conclusions of international experts indicate that the death of Ukrainian soldiers in the isolation ward in Olenivka, Donetsk region was the result of the use of thermobaric weapons by Russian troops, reports Babel. He stressed that it was certainly not a missile attack. On July 29th, Ukrainian prisoners of war were killed in a correctional facility in the territory occupied by Russia. According to the Prosecutor General's office, about 40 people were killed and 130 were injured. Russia claimed that they were killed in missile attack by Ukrainian missiles. 4 additional HIMARS multiple-launch rocket systems from the US arrived in Ukraine, reports Radio Liberty. According to the Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov, the sound of the HIMARS volley has become a top hit of this summer at the front lines. He added that Germany has delivered Mars 2 multiple-launch rocket systems to Ukraine as well. At the end of July, the media reported that Germany transferred 3 Mars 2 systems and 3 Panzerhaubitze 2000 self-propelled artillery systems to the Ukrainian army. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the Russian forces are focusing their efforts on conducting an offensive in the Bakhmut and Avdiivka directions, Donetsk region, reports Grunt Media. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy deployed units in the areas of Bayrak and Dementivka, but was forced to withdraw. In the Mykolaiv direction, the Russian troops are concentrating their main efforts on preventing the advance of Ukrainian forces. The enemy-led assaults in the area of Trudolubivka had no success and left. Ukraine received the first tranche of macrofinancial assistance from the European Union, worth €500 million, reports Interfax Ukraine. According to the Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, the second tranche of 500 million euros will be received on August 2nd. The Prime Minister said that this assistance is part of a larger package of support for Ukraine in overcoming the financial consequences of the war, totaling 9 billion euros. Our Patreon supporters get access to a cool new series on wartime life in Ukraine. To join the club, follow the link in the description below. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.